Welcome to the end of the week on Highly Questionable. What do you like on the show today, Bomani?
I don't know if you guys have heard, but Beast Mode back.
Yeah, he is. Vamos, Papi.
Who do you think was more disappointed to hear that Antonio Brown was ruled out for Sunday? Pac-Man Jones or the Steelers?
So it's over for Pac-Man Jones. It turns out Antonio Brown was not faking it. The Steelers have to really be bumming about what's happening here. Over the last 2 years, Antonio Brown has missed 88 plays. On those 88 plays, the Steelers average 1.5 yards because they don't do very much without Antonio Brown. I'll tell you who is happy today, though. Vontaze Burfict took out all the Steelers, one after another. Took out Le'Veon Bell a few weeks ago, took out Ben Roethlisberger's right arm, and took out this guy. Burfict will pay the 3 games, but he took out the 3 stars.
Yeah, you just mentioned Ben Roethlisberger's right arm, which is probably the biggest deal of all of this, because if they're out there with Landry Jones, they're not going to win that game. But how bad must Antonio Brown be hurt? If this is a playoff game, it's Friday, and they're already waving the flag.
I do have one question for everybody with our arbitrary moralities. We were talking a lot about Peyton Manning and that HGH report, healing after neck surgeries. Is anyone out there going to ask any questions? Be curious at all how it is that Ben Roethlisberger can keep playing when we all saw how hurt he was, and God knows what kind of elephant tranquilizers he's on to stay on the football field.
Good old vitamin T for Toradol.
It's time for me to make a pick. Is everybody ready at home? It's going to be the Steelers.
Okay. Is everyone ready at home? All right, there it is.
The Steelers are going to win.
And with not one single fact to back up his opinion. Just there it is.
Well, where did this clapping come from? They were just clapping.
I know, that was weird.
Do you consider the Patriots to be 4.5 points favorites over the Chiefs tomorrow?
Okay, so Rob Gronkowski apparently went to the hospital for that bum right knee that he's had to have an MRI done. Mike Florio says he thinks they're drumming up just how hurt Gronk is, but they're taking time on a Thursday to give him an MRI on something that was somewhat ambiguously diagnosed a few months ago. What Gronk are we going to get? Because that's a major factor on what Patriots you're going to get. However, if it's the team at home with Tom Brady playing against the team with Alex Smith starting on the road, 4.5 sounds about where you start.
I find it pretty impossible to predict games these times of years. I do concern myself with the idea that everyone seems just a little bit broken this time of year. So on one side, you got the Chiefs. Macklin and Houston aren't right. On the other side, you're not sure how healthy Brady is because he got hurt the last week of the season, even though they were trying to protect him. Gronk just got back from the vet, and Edelman is playing for the first time in God knows how long. So I don't know what to do with this game because I have no idea how healthy anyone is.
And you also don't know the names of any of the Kansas City Chiefs running backs. Like, the fact that the Chiefs are this far is kind of amazing.
It's time for me to make my pick. Is everybody ready?
Really, Dad? You're going to do this every time?
That's right, between the Chiefs and the Patriots. It's going to be the Chiefs.
All right, a singular Chief.
One of them.
It wasn't. It's one Chief is going to win. The rest of them are going to lose, but one of them's going to advance. That'll be weird.
So if he claps, you have to clap? Is that something that goes on in your house?
Your precious little Aaron Rodgers got crushed by the Cardinals 2 weeks ago. Why will tomorrow be different?
I don't expect tomorrow to be different. I think that what's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers is they're going to be the team that they were the last half of the season, which isn't a team that could beat anybody good. Arizona is good. Arizona is rested. Arizona is uncommonly healthy as we spend this entire A block talking about injured players right and left. I think Arizona throttles him and ends Aaron Rodgers' season.
Now, the one thing, though, the Packers did this against Washington, who we can now finally say, since they're out of here, really wasn't a good team, but they ran the ball. Like, they were back able to run the ball. If they could run the ball, maybe that opens some things up for a passing game. That's going against a secondary that doesn't have Tyrann Mathieu anymore. They got that little bitty linebacker out there. Maybe I have no way in the world of trying to convince myself that this is what's going to happen. The only thing you can say, though, with Carson Palmer, if they win this game, that will be his first win as a starter of a playoff team ever. Crazy to think, right?
That is crazy.
It's time for me to make the pick. Cardinals or Packers? Is everyone at home ready?
All right, great. More of this.
It's going to be the Packers.
There you go.
That's right, the Packers. Hey, the Packers.
Hey. It will be the Parkers. Ray Jr. and the bunch will go and take on this victory.
Congratulations, Packers. Does Marshawn Lynch make the Seahawks significantly better against the Panthers?
All right, so who's going to start our running back if Marshawn Lynch doesn't? Do you know? You might not. It'll be Kristen Michael. That'll be the guy that's in there because Thomas Rawls did well in Marshawn Lynch's stead. He's hurt. Marshawn Lynch is back. He told Kenny Mayne because that's who I tell all my important news to also. So what you have, the Seahawks with the running back that had embodied their team, with the quarterback that is the new representation of their team against a really, really, really good defense. This will be interesting, but only one of these teams has Cam Newton.
But keep in mind, Seattle, in the 7 games Marshawn Lynch missed, 6-1, 29 points a game. Russell Wilson was allowed to expand, and Baldwin went crazy. It seems like when they relied on Marshawn Lynch less, they allowed other guys to be more. What I like, Bomani, though, is what Danny O'Neill of 710 ESPN Seattle reports, which is the relationship between Lynch and the entire management is so frayed that he goes into the huddle 3rd and 1, and they don't give him the ball, and he's shooting the middle finger at his bench. I enjoy stories like that.
And now, the moment that you all have been waiting for. Time for me to make my pick between the Seahawks and the Panthers. And the winner is going to be the Seahawks. Hey! Seahawks!
You do it.
Your turn.
I'm tired of endorsing him.
Way to go, Seahawks.
All right, congratulations.
Should we downgrade Jimmy Butler's 53-point performance because he came in OT against the Sixers?
Jimmy Butler, the Sixers, they're not the Sixes. Jimmy Butler has, in the last 3 halves that he has played without Derrick Rose, he has scored 93 points in the last 3 halves without Derrick Rose. There's nobody in the world happier that Derrick Rose is not out there than Jimmy Butler. Don't downgrade it. 50-plus against anybody is a big deal.
Yeah, it's not like everybody puts up 53 against the Sixers. It just feels that way. The thing that's interesting after the game, though, is Jimmy Butler talked about how Fred Hoiberg is now being tougher on them in the way that he wanted them to be tougher on them. Jimmy Butler wanted something more like Tom Thibodeau. This team also just went to overtime with the Sixers. Like, I'm not going to downgrade your 53. I am going to look at the other dudes like, hey, y'all wasted 5 extra minutes of your lives playing basketball against the Sixers?
Did you hear what Derrick Rose said after the game? Congratulations, Jimmy. Ah, my knee, my knee, ah, my knee, my knee.
I thought he had a problem with his face. Isn't he still seeing double?
Man.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we talk to Robbie Lawler.
I was cut, and I'm a little different than most, but nothing really hurt after that fight.
You had a 4-inch cut on your lip, and you're telling me it didn't hurt?
Robbie, you weren't just bleeding. They had to stitch your whole mouth back together.
Yeah, I thought the stitching was worse than the actual cut.
My son's TV show is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. It's Miller time. Joining us at the beach today is Robbie Lawler.
He is a fun fighter. His fun fights are explosive. Current UFC welterweight champion. Let's get to know him a little bit. Who's the person in your life, among loved ones, that most dislikes what you do for a living?
Probably my wife. I've been doing this for so long, I just think she's over it.
Well, but beyond that, though, you fight these hugely entertaining fights that can't be entertaining for her. You administer a beating. You don't mind taking a beating. Like, how does the family experience that?
Well, she doesn't watch it. My son doesn't watch it, but the rest of my family watches it. It's entertaining, but when you know someone you care about, it's a rough sport to watch.
Now, was it a conscious decision for your son not to watch you fight?
No, I don't allow him. He's going to turn 6 in February, so I just don't allow him to be in martial arts or do any of that stuff yet until he really understands what's going on. And
what is the worst that you've ever felt after a fight, physically and emotionally?
Probably emotionally, I lost my first UFC title fight by decision. It was just my moment. I thought it was going to be my day, and it wasn't, and that was hard. And physically, I fought a kickboxer in an MMA fight, and he just mangled up my lead leg with kicks, and had to end up getting a knee scope after the fight. It was a rough one.
So it wasn't recently when your lip was cut open 4 inches and you went to the hospital with blood all over you, your blood, his blood, everybody's blood was all over you. That doesn't even qualify.
No, that was a good fight. I was just bleeding. I didn't have time to bleed. It wasn't one of those things where that didn't really hurt me at all. It was just I was cut, and I'm a little different than most, but nothing really hurt after that fight.
You had a 4-inch cut on your lip, and you're telling me it didn't hurt?
Robbie, you weren't just bleeding. They had to stitch your whole mouth back together.
Yeah, I thought the stitching was worse than the actual cut.
You just let that drop right there. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got nothing. I cannot relate at all.
He liked letting that sit there. All right, give us the opposite then. Give us something that's not tough about you, like the last time you cried during a movie about Dalmatians, pedicures. Give us something about you that is the opposite of tough.
Oh man, I don't know.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, everything. I'm just trying to be tough, but
it is all tough.
I don't concentrate on not being tough, so I'd have to look pretty hard.
Come on, you cried during a movie when you shouldn't have been crying. That's happened to all of us. Like there has to have been some time where you started. No.
I cried when like Reggie White died. You remember that time when they're retiring him? Those are the kinds of things that get me.
Man, okay, but somebody died. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's
like that. Those are the kind of. Yeah, like that's.
It's not
me.
like
Like
you knew him.
Reggie. I didn't know him. It's Reggie White, but he's like this huge. Yeah, I guess I'm not.
Okay,
I don't
you
cry
cried
about
when
like
someone
random
really
stuff.
tough died. I mean, come on, man. Give us like
somebody I looked up to.
Yeah, somebody tough died. Give us nothing. You're not going to give us anything on this front.
I don't think I have anything.
Your wife would give us something where you're hiding it. You're trying to hide it because your face. No, nothing.
No. I don't think there's something out there.
Your father was a Marine. Can you give us some examples of Marine discipline that were in your childhood?
I mean, it was like one of those things where he'd like, I'd have to clean the house, obviously, like pick up everything, but he'd like hide like a penny somewhere, and like if you didn't get that penny in the corner meant you didn't like clean the house well. So it was like I'd find a penny like in the corner. I'd be like, he's still doing this trick. I'm 16 years old. Like,
is your dad someone you were afraid of a little bit growing up?
Yeah, he was a disciplinarian. It was, you don't mess with dad, and I'm better for it.
Did you ever mess with dad? Was there a memorable time where you messed with dad?
No, not really. There's respect and a love there, and it's my guy.
Respect or love, or you knew you didn't want those problems?
Yeah, you don't want those problems.
Who's tougher, you or dad?
Dad.
That didn't seem sincere.
I think that's the smartest answer. I think
a good answer.
If you don't say
like
dad the next time you see
you
don't say dad next time you see dad, you're gonna find out who's the tough one. I think he played it right.
I don't feel like it was the truth. Robbie, Papi wants a shot at you. He wants a crack at you. Go ahead, Dad.
You're such a tough guy. You know, what does your romantic side look like?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's great. I don't even know. Only my wife knows. Only my wife knows.
She hasn't even seen it, has she, Walt? She like, you don't know anything about romance, do you?
A little bit here and there, but, you know.
No, sounds like you're no good at that. Robbie, thanks for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I love the gram. I'm addicted to it. I know I am. And I just follow Angela Simmons. Boy, I get a crush on Angela Simmons. They like, damn, Papi, you ball. Man, I might let the world know. Goals. Highly questionable. This broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that would like you to wait while it slips into something a little more comfortable. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
Do you question if this is good coaching?
It can't be. Because then we don't know anything but the question.
Right. It wouldn't be in this part of the show if it was good coaching. Let's see.
TP. No, right here. You're doing great. TP. No, right here. You're doing great.
That was it.
I mean, yeah, that's genius right there. That's championship genius. They won, of course. They beat LeBron and the Cavs super team.
Although it should be noted, by the way, Greg Popovich did an interview with Craig Sager. He's so nice to Craig Sager now because Craig Sager made it back from cancer. He's still the same impossible Greg Popovich in those interviews. Can you do that pleasant impossible with everybody else? Because that's more fun than just flat out being a jerk, Greg Popovich.
Well, maybe Tony Parker doesn't understand him. Maybe Popovich has to speak French, you know. Tony Parker, parlez-vous français? Très bien, monsieur. Un peu. Au revoir. Merci, merci.
What? What?
Wow. Eh?
Wow.
Do you question if this cat is in better shape than you?
Why are you looking at me? Why did you
because
look at
I'm
me?
just looking around.
No,
I
looked
like
at
you
me.
and confused by the question.
Let's see what we've got here.
Odds are 5-3 on the cat.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the cat's got an absolutely powerhouse core. Oh, but wait a minute. There's a stamina problem.
Wait a minute, though.
That's not a cat that's exercising. That's a cat that's having a hard time getting up.
Yeah, but you don't know when they started running that video. They might have caught him at the end. By the way, that is quite the obese cat. I didn't think I would say this at the beginning, but my money's on the Levitar.
Yeah!
That's a hell of a cat. I never saw a cat doing that, you know? Push up on his back. That's something else.
Yep, calisthenics kitty.
A push-up on his back, Papi? You meant a sit-up, right?
What is a push-up on your back?
It was kind of doing a push-up on its back. It was.
I haven't done any of those for such a
I
long
know,
time.
right?
I don't
They
know the
used to be known
difference.
as something different 100 years ago, back when he did his last one.
Time to play the game that is experiencing some technical difficulties. See or no?
You tell us what to watch on television tonight. We'll tell you whether we're intrigued or not.
We need to clear out the cash.
Yeah, that's right.
On Comcast California, Clippers and Kings.
The Clippers haven't lost since Blake Griffin left the lineup. Here's some of the backstory on what we're about to show you, though. The Clippers try and get off the court as fast as they can. Last one back to the locker room has a punishment, faces a punishment of having to dance. Cole Aldridge was the last one back to the locker room. And there is the punishment.
What the hell was that? Hey, Lance, what was that, dog? It's terrible. hey, what was that, dog?
Yeah, I feel like that's just sort of an opportunity to make fun of the white guy dancing. Bomani, are you intrigued?
No, we're going to make fun of the white guy not dancing. That's not dancing. That's just playing charades. Like, go ahead, run that again. Show me what is a dance move in this. This isn't the problem. Like, this isn't like the white people at the wedding that look like they don't know what to do. He's like, oh, I'm going to make it rain to the ground.
Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. I tell you something, buddy. I mean, you want to see somebody dancing? I'll show you how to dance. That's the way you do it. You know, you get into the locker room and they make a circle around you and you start going like that. You start going like this. You start going like this. That's it.
Go, Papi. Go,
I was so thinking a strike three was coming here. I was waiting.
Strike three.
There it
Just
is. There it is.
Strike three.
The worst is that he has to wind up for it. What's that about?
Saturday on TLC, sex sent me to the ER.
Oh, these things. I mean, this is unbelievable, the stuff that happens here. Is this that show where once in a while they go to an x-ray and someone's got a toaster in a place you should never have a toaster? Let's see what we've got here.
When it comes to sex, I come up with all the ideas. I was already hot as it was. I mean, felt like my blood pressure was high as sky.
1 minute, jumper on!
I love the vibration of this plane. Let's have sex in the sky.
We could be bobsledding off the Swiss Alps into a pool of sharks, and if she's ready, she's ready.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
All right.
You know, at the frame of mind that I was in, hey, I don't care what happens. I'm just ready to do the thing.
You got to deploy your chute at 3,000 no matter what, okay?
Okay.
I have to make this happen so my baby's happy.
Ready, set, go!
Yeehaw!
You know, you don't know what's going to happen when you put two bodies together at that kind of fall rate.
Since we were both wearing really baggy shorts, I just figured we could just
Connect
without a hassle.
The next time I look at altimeter, it hits me, we're in trouble.
It's time to go.
I know we're down to 2,500 or below, 1,000 feet below to where she needed to be deployed. At this point, she needs a chute.
When he deployed my chute and I went up, I didn't see him anymore. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if he done got hurt.
Oh, what a magical reenactment. There is nothing that'll kill the mood more than the whole idea of, oh my God, I'm going to die crashing to earth. It will. It'll kill the mood like that. It kills it every time. Bomani, are you intrigued?
Yo, you got to admit, that's kind of dope, and I like her attitude.
Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. I gotta check that flying company to see if they operate here in South Florida. You know,
Let's talk about something else.
Yes, really. Yes.
That's something new. That opens up the whole world of sex. You know?
No, thank you. No.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
We will see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.
Gracias. See you el lunes.
One more time, Papi, for the people at home. Give them all your picks so they can bet the Papi Parlay. Give them all. What do you got?
Well, I got the Seahawks. I got the, that's the only one I remember, really.
Okay, all right. Excellent work. Excellent work.